Peter, why is this quarter so important?
Because we're going to see whether Apple's going to be able to get through this period where they've had very few new products for quite a while now. If they miss today, if they miss particularly on the iPhone sales number and on gross margin, then there's going to be a lot of questions about whether this gravy train that's been the iPhone for these last few years, whether that business model is going to hold up, whether they're going to be able to, maintain the price and maintain the profitability of that product. If they meet or beat, then I think, all is sort of well in Appleand, and they can move on and introduce some new products that will hopefully sort of reignite growth in the next few quarters.
Well, Peter, that's just where I wanted to go. I wonder how short-sighted it would be to look at just these results, given the fact that we're expecting more on the Apple TV, the iWatch, and the iPhone 5S, all coming right by the end of the year.
Well, we're not sure about all of those products. Most people seem to think that, certainly we'll see an iPhone 5S, which, from most of the reports I've gathered, is not going to be a real game-changer kind of product. There's a lot of interest in a cheaper iPhone that would be $100 or $200 cheaper. That's really going to be critical because Apple is really not, they've really slowed down and they're not participating in emerging markets that are just booming right now. Millions and millions of people are getting their first smartphone, and they're not, for the most part, they're not buying Apple.
They're not buying Apple because, for many people, the price, at least that many people in Europe or in the U.S. pay, is prohibitive. How many market share gain points could Apple get, do you think, Peter, if they do, in fact, offer a cheaper iPhone?
They're now at sort of 19% or so. I think the hope is that if they participate, they don't have to go all the way. The booming part of the market is phones costing less than $200. By comparison, the iPhone 5 goes for more than $600. If they participate more in the lower ends of that market, the hope is that maybe they can maintain 20% or more of the market, which, we're talking about the smartphone business. This is billions of units a year. So 20% share would be terrific.
Peter, earlier, hedge fund legend Julian Robertson got at this dynamic between Apple and Google. He sees a better culture right now at Google. He says he read the Steve Jobs biography and says that there's no long-term plans in place for Apple. Where's the momentum shifting in terms of in Silicon Valley on where the hot products are coming from and where the numbers, the profits are coming from?
Well, it's interesting. We just wrote a story comparing the smartphone business to the PC business. And back then, back in the day, Apple became a real niche player in the PC business because they were up against this whole Wintel, open architecture where you had hundreds of companies all participating competing against Apple. Clearly, that's what's going on now with Android. There's a lot of energy going into Android. So far, Apple's done fantastically well, obviously, but for the last couple of years, we have not seen those great new products from Apple. So it's all about the products. If they can come up with some great new innovative products that re-spark interest, then they'll be fine and these concerns will go away. If they don't, I think it's clear, Android is not slowing down.